She also said another thing to him. She said, "If I die, don't let anyone cry for me. Don't let anyone cry for me. Let them be glad. Let them rejoice that I would be in the kingdom with my Father." Mother was a very, very strong-willed person. There was nothing that would keep her down for long. And so this was just another one of those things that she said, "I'm going to power through it. I'm going to do my best." But day by day, you could just see, a body just deteriorate. Eventually, you lose your hair, and then speaking becomes a struggle. And this, moving, going to the bathroom, the simple things you have to do just, becomes struggle for you. After it was early February, and they finally let my mom come home from the hospital, and she could not do much on her own. They kept her in bed most of the time, and they eventually brought a bed from the hospital, and they put it right in a little corner next to my dad's bed. And every single day, my dad was so afraid to go to work. He was just like, "Okay, I don't want to leave you by yourself. I don't want to leave you by yourself." My mom would say, "Sam, you need to go to work. You have to do what you have to do." And so every day, you could just see the pain in my father's heart. And I remember during the night, I would hear the cries of my father. My room wasn't that far away from him. I would hear him crying, and he would speak in his native tongue. He said, my God, please, my God, that delivers all. He who can move mountains, my God, please, deliver my wife." And he said, and I could hear him, he said Psalm 71:20-21. It says, "Though you have made me see troubles, many and bitter, you will restore my life again. From the depths of the earth, you will bring me up. You will increase my honor and comfort me once again." It wasn't too long until it was a Monday afternoon, and someone from the hospital came to our house, and they came in, and I found out they were the counselor for this kind of thing. And so we all went into our living room, and I sat down, and she sat down, and the whole family was there, and my mom slowly made her way into the room, and then she was huddled in a blanket. She said, "If there's something that you don't want me to hear, I'll just go back to bed." And then after that, we didn't really think anything of it, but she went back to her room and slowly got back into bed. And after that, the counselor, she was just saying, "Oh, I know this is tough for you, and it's something that shouldn't be happening, but the way that things are looking now, your mother has less than 3 months to live." was after that, after those words, I was more determined than ever to let God's glory shine there in that moment. I wanted so badly to see a miracle. But also at that moment, my faith was, my well was almost dried up. There was nothing that anyone could say at that moment that would make me wish that I hadn't been there. It was about a week later. That she started to have a lot of problems eating, and so she had to be fed almost all the time. And I remember I go to school, and I have all this on my heart, but I don't show it. I don't let anyone think that I'm discouraged or anything. And all my friends, some of them offered their sympathy, some came to visit, and all my teachers, they were amazed of the condition I was in, that every day I wasn't down, I wasn't doing the things that I was supposed to be doing. I kept at it. I kept doing the things I needed to. And, school became a very rough place for me. Just the focus aspect, because it's like everywhere I look, I see my friends, and then the hardest part for me was every day I'd walk home and I'd go out in the parking lot and I'd see, parents come and pick up their kids, and I'd see them hugging and laughing, and I said to myself, God, I want to experience that again so badly. So on a Wednesday February, I was walking home and I was looking at the sky, and I was saying to myself, God, if you're listening, Lord, please just re-enrich me with faith, Lord. I want to see your goodness. I know that you're going to do something amazing, and I know that you will deliver my mother from this. Days continued to go by. They turned into weeks, and she progressively just continued to get worse and worse and worse. My uncle, who is the closest to my mother, he came. It was March 19th. He came in, and to see them both together, my mom could hardly speak. It was at the beginning of March that the hospital had brought in a heart rate monitor, and they placed it right next to her bed. And before my uncle, during that period, every day I come home, the first thing I did, I'd go into that room, I'd say, hi, Mom, and I'd have to listen to that dreaded beeping from the heart rate monitor. And I'd say, hi, Mom, and then sometimes I would get a, hi, David, and how was school? Or sometimes she'd look at me and she would try so hard to say something, but nothing would come out. So she'd just smile at me and nod her head, and then she'd tell me to come closer, and then she'd just whisper something to me. And I remember she said, David, if I don't make it through this, you have to. These are all the things that I want you to do. And I said, Mom, don't talk like that. You always talk like that. Growing up, I mean, that's just something my mom did. She didn't mean anything by it, but she said, it always started out like, if God forbid something happened to me, please, just remember to do this. Remember to do this. Always do this. And so to hear that then is it broke me. One thing that my mom would never let my dad do, no matter what, was to take off his wedding ring. And I remember growing up, like, sometimes if there were some really nasty dishes and my dad didn't want to tarnish his ring, my mom's like, no, don't take it off. But I remember one Saturday, it was the Saturday before the 20th of March. My dad was by her bed, and he was talking, and they're just talking and praying together, and my mom, she just stopped, and her face just was so pale, and my dad looked at her, he's like, no, it's not over, God's gonna do something. And then he was holding onto his wedding ring, and he just pulled it off for a moment, and there was no reaction. On the 19th, when my uncle came, he came in, and he came in at about 7 o'clock in the morning. He knelt by my mom's bed, and he was there until 11 o'clock at night. And he was doing his best to, encourage us and encourage her and tell her that everything's gonna be okay. It's not gonna end just like that. It's not.